You're listening to the world-famous White Roof Radio, Woofcast number 654, recorded March 14th, 2019. Tonight brought to you, as always, by our good friends over at cravenspeed.com, motoringstripes.com, and outmotoring.com. Mini performance, speed, and style, it's outmotoring.com. Who wants to do a show? Can we do a show now?
Yeah.
Gabe, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. Hey, everybody, it's DD in Arizona. Finally, bringing you a brand new episode of the world-famous White Roof Radio. Full crew pretty much tonight as well. My good friend, as always, Mr. Todd Pearson has joined us. Todd, say hi.
I am here. Hello.
From motoringstripes.com. Go buy stripes to quit buying crap off of Amazon. Of course, the good Reverend is here as well. Mr. Chad Miller from Detroit Tune, DetroitTune.com. Chad.
I would agree with the sentiments that DB has said about buying crap off Amazon.
That's right. Don't buy crap from Amazon. And speaking of crap from Amazon, Mr. Gabe Bridger. I'm sorry.
Can you buy a Bridger on Amazon?
I don't know. Well, you buy a book about my ancestor, but that's about it.
And is it crap?
No, it's a good book.
Oh, well, then
there's several. There's many. There's a plethora.
I take back my prior crap comment, and I retract that. Apologies. And if you guys had trouble with Motoring File last week, check again. It's fixed.
Apparently, it was like an hour of bad server time.
Yeah, it was. Well, that was like kind of like the thing in tech all week. There was like Facebook had an outage, and Instagram had an outage, and now Motoring File had an outage, and Google had issues. There's been issues all over on the internet lately. We're just gonna chalk it up to that. But anyway, Motoring File should be good to go now. If not, of course, ping us on the Twitter or something, won't you? Thank you.
And on that note, I will say, like, everything needs to stop updating itself. Everything worked before. Nothing else needs updating. No Windows, no iPhones, no Android phones, nothing. Stop updating yourself because you're just breaking it.
I know, because I tried to run a credit card charge for a customer for a client today.
Yeah.
And, I plug in I've got the fancy little,
your little square
chip
thing.
reader. It does Apple Pay.
Oh, yeah, you get the fancy one, right.
Fire it up, and then all of a sudden it goes, oh, you can't use this until there's a system update, right? And that takes 20 minutes.
Of course.
Good.
Nightmare. Yeah.
Everything right now is broken on the internet.
You know what world I want to move to? I don't know if you guys are watching. This will be just a little short drift into the Shuttlecast. I don't know if you guys are watching the Umbrella Academy.
Yes.
Haven't started yet.
Okay, so I'm not going to do any spoilers, but you're going to notice once you get past the brilliant cinematography and the amazing story and the brilliant acting and the great production, you're going to notice there is a complete and total lack of chip-based technology. None at all. And it's really cool. You never notice that, Gabe?
I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm just adding sound effects.
Who's watched the Umbrella Academy besides me?
Is that on TV?
It's on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
I highly recommend it. It's really good. It's really good. I'm enjoying it a lot. It has kind of a Stranger Things vibe to it, kind of like that. Amazing story, amazing production. Cinematography literally is just going to make you just blow your mind. Okay, let's move back into White Roof Radio Lane. Anyway, we're not going to talk about TV shows tonight. No, we've got Gabe on. We're going to get you guys caught up on news from motoringfile.com.
We've got a lot of stuff to talk about.
I think we've got a Mini in the mud we might talk about. I got a friend who's looking to buy a Mini. We might talk about that. Chad's got stuff that he needs to get rid of at Detroit Tune. We're going to talk about that. Todd's I think Todd's going to be doing like a rapping contest in Vegas. We might talk about that. Who knows? It's a full crew.
I'll tell you, I sold more product of Todd's in the last 24 hours, I think, than Todd sold of his product.
It's close. It's close because I spent my last 2 days working on a Toyota Highland.
Oh, that sounds exciting.
Interesting.
I guarantee we're not going to talk about that either. We're going to talk about Mini Cooper stuff. Trust me, we are. We're going to do all that here in just a minute. First, what do? We remind you guys about one of the fine sponsors here underneath the white roof, our good pal, our bestest friend in the whole wide world. Yikes. That's not me hitting my microphone. It's actually our friend over at outmotoring.com. You guys love him. We love him. Everybody loves him. You know why you love him? Over at outmotoring.com. I'm going to tell you why you love outmotoring.com. Because first of all, outmotoring.com, he gets you motoring rewards. Whenever you place an order, you can earn points. Everybody loves playing for points. You can he'll make sure you always get the right parts for your car. If you're part of a mini club, he will totally help you support your club. You just have to send him an email and just say help, and he'll help you out. It might be stuff from the swag closet. It could be a gift certificate. You never know. He's really generous with that kind of stuff. It's really cool stuff. Free shipping if you spend more than $195. 100% happiness guarantee. And if you need a hitch for your Mini, Aaron's got you covered at minidomore.com. There's a link there, topoutmotoring.com. Don't forget, I want you guys to make sure I'm sure you have, but in case you haven't, sign up for the newsletter. When you get a newsletter, you get a 5% discount code. He also posts that in his stories that he posts at motoringfile.com when he gets around to writing those for us, which is actually quite amazing. Okay. And the other reason you're going to go to Out Motoring is because it's like your cloud-based Mini Cooper parts desk. Well, Mini Cooper and Aston Martin parts desk, actually. Here's got Aston Martin parts. But anything that you can need for any Mini, he's going to have it. And if he doesn't have it, he'll get it. And he's going to get it for you for probably a price cheaper than the dealer selling it for you for. And it's probably the same part. And there's so much background noise. You're right, Chad. But go over there, check it all out. What are we looking at today? We're going to look at Cooper Club. We're looking at Clubman, interior parts. You can go over there, and he's got all the things. All the accent trim pieces that you want, all the really cool chrome bits. Got it. Done and done. Don't forget also all the personal gear. Hats, the shoes, the watches. Aaron's got you covered. Outmotoring.com. Go over there, please, and check them out. That, of course, one more time is our friends at Outmotoring. Outmotoring.com. Mini performance, speed, and carbon fiber door trim set for the R55. That's outmotoring.com.
Interesting.
Gabe, you're not even going to buy Clubman. You don't care. You don't care.
About Clubman?
An R55. You're not going to buy an R55, are you?
No, I won't.
So, see? Told you.
Yeah, I won't.
Yes, I know. Gabe's looking for a GP right now. We're not talking about it. We're talking about other stuff.
Overrated, Gabe. I had two of them.
Yeah,
true.
Just
no,
honestly.
Yeah, but you haven't had. But I'm looking to buy one in the next decade.
Oh, okay.
It's once you hit the 2020s, it's like then they make sense.
Okay.
Okay, sure. How about some of that news music? Or something equally equivalent.
Is that how it goes?
That's exactly how it goes, Gabe. Thank you.
Or is it?
No, we can't play that music.
Am I going to get this pulled from YouTube if
You're
I do
going
that?
to get this pulled from YouTube now, Gabe. Thank you very much. For those of you, and this will be the only bit if you don't subscribe to the Black Roof Radio feed over at patreon.com/Black Roof Radio. Yeah, you would have heard that we had a YouTube video pulled from 9 years ago, and it was our Amviv intro. I'll find a way to repost it so you guys can see it, and we used the AC/DC and the whole thing. It was actually quite brilliant. It took us 3 days to make this stupid video. That was awesome, and YouTube finally pulled it down. So
there's so much to talk about.
Yeah, Gabe, I'm just gonna let you. I'm just gonna let you start. Let's. We don't need to talk about all of it, but there's a lot. There is a lot of stuff.
I'm gonna hit some highlights.
Yeah,
the first thing I want to start with. Is the BMW X2 M35i.
Nope.
Who wants to know why?
Because
Todd?
It's got the same engine as the upcoming JCW Countryman and Clubman.
Yes, and
I give
GP.
Up. Oh, on the GP.
Well, yeah.
So I drove this car. I drove this car in anger, I might add.
Why were you angry?
That's just a term that English journalists use to say fast.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you got it.
Don't drive angry. Don't drive.
I was
no.
He's got kids.
I drove it in anger. I had my jumper on.
You were wearing a jumper.
I wore trainers.
And trainers.
So,
did you get transported back to 1992?
No, that's what you say in Britain.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Back to the story. So, this is the 302 horsepower B46 engine that
48
B48, sorry, that we all know and love. This is the engine that we have talked about on Motorfile since like 2014. So it finally hit the market. And the first car it hit in is the X2 M35i. Great. How does it feel? Well, it can only be had with an automatic in the X2. So I drove, obviously, the automatic. My daily is a Countryman JCW with a 230 horsepower engine version of that. Right. Last year I had a same automatic with that same JCW engine. So I can give you a fairly good assessment. And so I have a one-word comparison for you. Todd, are you ready?
All right.
Faster.
Well, okay.
Well, naturally.
It's faster.
It's got 60 horsepower more than the base motor did.
Try 70 something actually.
Sure.
I'm not good at math, but 70, 72 ish.
Sure.
So it's faster. No, but it's neck snapping faster.
Okay.
It's not crazy fast, but when you're used to the speed that the Mini gives you, this is a big difference. And the X2 is heavier than the Minis are as well. And
1,000 pounds heavier.
No. It's actually. Yeah. The Countryman and the Clubman are right there with it. It's like they're just a little bit lighter.
Right.
But point being, it is noticeably faster. I mean, I drive this car every single day, the JCW Countryman. It's a quick car. I do all right in it.
Right.
It's not a stoplight racer, but it'll win at stoplights if it needs to. This new car with launch control and the automatic, it's fast.
Okay.
It also sounds really good.
Okay.
There's some differences with this car that I'm really excited to see what Mini does with them. Specifically, the sound. The sound has been tuned quite different.
And where are we going to see this engine, Gabe, again?
It's going to go in the JCW Countryman and Clubman, starting with July production.
Okay.
Of this year. And I have some news on that in terms of some of the details. It will be, drum roll please.
I don't have drum roll.
Automatic only.
Well, that's not surprising.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
so
that's not surprising.
if this is a replacement for the current JCW Clubman and Countryman, full-on replacement, which we believe it will be, that means that the JCW Countryman and Clubman will be losing the manual transmission option.
Yeah.
At least with that engine, do you think they could potentially offer previous D48 engine at the same time? Or nope, this is it.
No, not for
honestly,
JCW.
Todd, I think the take rate.
I
think the take rate would be so low that they would. I think they calculated it and they said, listen, it's going to cost X number of millions of dollars to offer a manual in this car, and economies of scale being what they are, it's going to be in the X1. It's already in the X2. It's going to be in the next generation 2 Series sedan, which there's going to be a 2 Series sedan. It's going to be the 1 Series sedan in China. It's going to be in the Clubman and Countryman. All in.
Why would somebody want 74 fewer horsepower in a car? Yeah.
Well, and the percentage of people that would have taken the manual, even at 302 horsepower in the Countryman and Clubman, compared to the rest of the units sold for BMW, would have been so small that they just looked at it and said, unfortunately, and I know most people at BMW, they hate making this decision, but unfortunately it doesn't make any sense. And so they cut it. And so the next question is, well, do we offer the old engine with the old transmission or the manual transmission? And to your point, Todd, who's going to buy that car? I mean, I love manuals, love them. I have like 3 of them
for additional horsepower.
Exactly. I have 3 of them in my garage right now.
Right.
But I'd have a hard time passing up because the automatic is so good. It's really good. And here's
Gabe,
the secret, guys. Here's the secret about the transmission, the manual transmission and the Countryman. The JCW Countryman and JCW Clubman have the worst manual transmission mini cells.
Okay, and elaborate, please.
Well, I've already written about it on Motor Files. So
and it was clickbait. But
no, it was not clickbait because you wanted to hear the rest of it, don't you?
No, I don't want to. I read the story
the
on
reason. If you read it, so then you did. There you go. So it's because the reason why is because it's an ASIN 6-speed manual transmission that was designed and engineered for Toyotas. That transmission ultimately made its way to the Lotus Evora, of all places, where they did some modifications. Mini took those modifications, basically that iteration from the Lotus, brought it to the Mini. So when you drive that car, there's some interesting little things about it. Number one, there's a cant, and I swear to you, it is so subtle, but it's there, slightly to the right. Because it was designed for a right-hand drive car by Lotus engineers. They basically kind of effed with it. And it was also mainly meant for Japanese market Toyotas.
Which
so there's
is also
this
right-hand drive.
But the first to second in that transmission is just long, so long.
Well, not after you put a short shifter in it, but really, I mean, the really hard part of that whole transmission is the clutch. I mean, that's what keeps failing. It's not the transmission.
On the F60.
The R cars.
But the R cars. Yeah, no, this is a totally different clutch.
Yeah.
So this is but Chad, the problem with this is that the length of the throws, and you're right, you can change that. There's also some sort of subtleties within the way that it engages in the transmission itself that's different, and it makes you realize how good the Getrag manual is on all the other minis. So for what it's worth, guys, I know it sucks that we're going to lose it, but it's the worst one they sell.
Well,
but
Gabe,
it's interesting that I haven't actually driven one of those because most of the customers are buying automatics, or that's what the dealers are buying anyways. So,
right.
I don't think there's that many out there.
I have a question.
No, I think you're right.
Gabe. I have a question for Gabe. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Gabe, you keep saying that
Was that the question?
That the automatic is good in the F cars. So, my concern is I have the R59 Roadster, right? It's a Roadster S, and it has quite possibly, and I don't know if this is a problem with the transmission, or programming combination of the two. It is the worst automatic transmission I've ever driven in my entire life.
That's a problem with the programming because that it's a completely mediocre transmission.
Yeah, it's
nowhere near
awful.
the worst. Is what I'm saying.
It's truly awful.
It's like a C plus in every other because I've driven a lot of those cars. It's just bad. They're all bad in that time period, but it's not horrible.
Okay. So because if you look around, and I'm looking to actually get into something that has less miles because I don't want to blow a turbo on 100,000 miles in this car. I don't have to deal with that kind of headache. So if I keep looking around, and if I could find a Cooper S or a Cooper with that automatic transmission, I would be well served by that car.
Which with the F56
and the F cars.
Same transmission.
Okay.
What?
It is.
But you want to hear something ridiculous?
Because I don't want it then.
It feels completely different. Completely different. And the reason why is because of software.
Better software.
Don.
Yeah.
Do you have the N18 in your car?
I do.
Your turbo is got an extended warranty to 100,000 miles. Or should.
Well,
anyway.
And I got extended warranty coverage on my car anyway. So, and I know it's not a matter of when. It's not a matter of if. It's a matter of when on that car. I just don't want to have to deal with it.
Only if you don't.
Smart move, by the way. Smart move.
I've got 2 years out of that car, and I've had a good time with it.
By the way, smart move. I think anybody with those cars should have an extended warranty.
I think anybody that has a used BMW or Mini should have an extended warranty.
No, yeah. I disagree there. I disagree. A BMW above a 5, yes. Below a 5, no.
Yeah, we got the extended on my girlfriend's 5, but that car has been bulletproof. I mean, literally.
Really?
Bulletproof.
What year?
2013. Same as the Roadster.
Oh, yeah. So the E60, which is previous to that model, was such a cluster for BMW that they over-indexed on quality. And that's basically what you see in the F56.
Right.
Is an over-indexing of engineering and making sure the thing was not going to break.
Right.
And so you end up with cars that are like really well built.
Yeah. Anyway, we can continue. I'm sorry for the distraction.
No, it's okay. We got lots to talk about. The next one is I think a really cool one. Oh, so to sum it up, X2 M35i, really fast, much faster than the JCW Club and Countryman.
Which means, and if that's the motor that's going to be the new JCW motor across the range, that means that the next JCW car is going to be wicked fast, is what you're saying, Gabe.
Going to be awesome, and we're talking about the big ones, not the hatch. But yes, you're right.
Yeah, got it.
I've got updates on the JCW range, by the way, that I haven't posted on Motorfile. We'll talk about in a second. So, 2020 brings JCW GP, and it is getting the full concept treatment. We have talked about this, we have wondered about this, and it's happening. So that means the JCW GP is going to get those crazy ass carbon fiber box fenders.
No, really?
Yeah.
That is true. Carbon fiber box fenders. It's going to get a wicked ass wing, 2-piece wing.
Wow.
It's going to get, are you sitting down?
Yeah.
Good. 302 horsepower.
Wow.
It's going to get a digital display in the steering wheel, behind the steering wheel. And here's the news. So Todd, we talked about this, right?
I believe so.
Yes, there he is.
Yep.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen. 302 horsepower is confirmed.
Yeah.
So that's confirmed, as is the transmission choice. It feels like another drum roll here.
No, it's going to be a automatic, right?
So we talked about this before. We thought, it's been manual only forever.
Yeah.
Mini is being, and I'm going to tell you right now, if I read between the lines, a little bit forced here to offer the JCW GP as an automatic only.
Yeah. Not a surprise.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been, and I've written about it on Motor File. It's been, and frankly, it's been confirmed 3 times now.
Right.
I've had my third source confirm that.
And the reasoning behind that, Gabe, isn't because of a take rate or, people don't want to buy a car with manual transmission. In this particular car, it's actually because it's faster and they can get better control and traction out of the automatic transmission.
I think here's the thing. I think if yes and no, I mean, that's a fact what you just said. However, if 90% of the people wanted to buy that car as a manual, then they would find a way to spend some extra time. And we're talking like a month or two.
Right.
Spend some extra time refining the traction, refining the launch, refining all these different, basically algorithms to make that car perfect with a manual transmission. But they realized that they'd rather spend that time with an automatic because most people want an automatic that are going to spend that much money and have a car with that much horsepower.
Right.
And so now you have a very different kind of GP. And listen, I haven't driven it, obviously. I've heard whispers that this car is amazing. I mean, I will say that I have talked to people who are like us, who love manual transmissions, who are really excited about this car, not because they work at Mini, but because they actually want to buy one.
Got it.
And these people have seen the car and they know what's coming. So I know it's a disappointment to hear it's an automatic only. And frankly, I'm disappointed. I mean, that sucks. It should be a manual. But it sounds like it's going to be a hell of a car.
Yeah. I mean, the new automatic transmissions, what transmission are they going to put in that thing, Gabe? Which is it going to be the 8-speed?
The ASIN 8-speed.
Yeah, which is supposed to be a brilliant transmission and have an amazing, manual mode and do the downshift for you and all the things.
Yeah,
and
it's all good.
You're going to smoke anything else at any track you take it to. So there you go.
No, it's all good stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna move quickly through a couple other things, and I'm kind of combining some things here so we can get into two debates. I think that'll be nice and healthy. So the electric Mini has been test driven by a handful of European journalists very recently.
for like 10 minutes or something. It wasn't very long, and it wasn't unsupervised, and it was like in a parking lot kind of autocross course type thing.
And I was not allowed to go because I assumed because they thought I was going to break it.
Probably.
So
it's because it doesn't have a manual transmission.
Correct. My left foot would have gone through the floor.
And I've recently ridden in a Tesla Model 3, so go.
It's very different.
It's very different.
So this is a car that we've waited to find stats, for a while, and now we have them. So here it is, 181 horsepower. Mm-hmm. It's going to the battery. I'm just going to give you some stats because I think it's actually pretty interesting. The battery is 441 pounds.
That seems really light to me for a battery, so well done, BMW.
Oh, that seems very heavy, but I don't know anything. 0 to 62 is 7.7 seconds.
Now, this is essentially the battery system out of the i3, right?
Yeah, i3S.
Yeah, the i3S. Right. Okay,
go. Yeah, the entire drivetrain's out of the i3S.
Right.
So, and here's the big one. The range.
Yeah.
120 miles is what they are estimating.
That doesn't sound horrible for a small car.
Not bad for electric cars anyway. And
a small one.
For small electric cars, yeah.
Todd, I'm curious, could you survive with that?
Oh yeah,
because I know Kansas City, everything is like 40 minutes away.
Wrong.
Every time I've ever been to Kansas City, it's like, I got to go here next, and it's 75 miles an hour for 40 minutes.
Oh, that's ridiculous. It takes me 15 minutes to get anywhere in the city. But I mean, for me, it would be feasible, and I say that because
I could do it.
My brand new car, I've had 2.5 months. I literally only have 900 miles on this car.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
so
granted,
DB, you could do this?
Yeah, I would. But it would be just for back and forth to work and around town. I couldn't use this to drive to my parents' house, and this doesn't pass the DB can own an electric car because it'll drive to Vegas on a single charge test. Right. Other than that, and that's why I won't own an electric car because I have.
Well, but you could always stop. You could stop at a Panera for an awkward 2-hour charge.
So I have friends that bought a Tesla Model S, and they live in Santa Clara, California. And as a test, they drove it to Phoenix for Christmas, and it took them 2 days between stopping for charging and waiting in line to charge and all the things. It took them 2 days to make a drive that should have taken them 8 hours.
That's what I said. The famous, the famous joke, DB, from MTTS. What was it, 2012?
Yeah.
That I said is that Tesla. They saw what Mini was doing, with Mini Takes the States, and they're going to do Tesla Takes the States.
Yeah.
And Tesla Takes the States is going to start at Memorial Day, and it's going to finish in Thanksgiving.
That's right.
Cross country, and they're going to drive 200 miles a day.
So really quick, I was looking at the battery stats, and I just found this interesting because I was curious. Other small electric cars like the Nissan Leaf, for example, which is obviously it's a much larger car, and the new one's going to have some ridiculous amount of range, 225 miles of range, but they're still going to sell with the 40 kilowatt hour battery pack, which is only going to give it 150 miles of range. So Mini is getting 120, or BMW is getting 120 miles of range out of a slightly smaller battery pack. So I give the win to Mini here.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because the other thing that's kind of cool is they have retrofitted a car that was never designed for a battery.
Right.
That's what I think is interesting, is they're shoehorning an electric car into an existing platform.
Yeah. And so the other thing to remember, guys, is, we talked about this before. This car was supposed to be, into life 2020. They're releasing this thing into 2019. Right. The stories the rumors I've heard is you're not going to see one of these cars until early 2020. So that should tell you everything. This car is going to be produced probably well past 2023 would be my guess.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, so you realize we're only talking 9 months from now. Right?
You're right. So here's the stat that to me makes the most. It causes me the most pause. So I've driven Teslas, and I've driven i3s, and I've had a handful, not a million of them, but I've had a handful of electric cars, and I've really tried to test them. The thing that always gets me is the charging time, the amount of time it takes to fill the battery or fill it enough.
Right.
And so the mark that a lot of them will talk about is the 80% charge mark.
Right.
Because as you know, on your iPhone or your other phone, the first 80% is pretty quick, but it's the last 20% that takes the most time. Right. Same thing with a car. All lithium-ion batteries are like that. So the Mini Cooper SE will take 40 minutes for an 80% charge when hooked up to a 50 kilowatt DC charger, which is the fastest you will find.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of Teslas.
But
so that sounds great, but they're hard to find. You don't see a lot of them. And I can tell you from my experience.
In your house, it's going to cost thousands of dollars.
It's not cheap.
It's not cheap.
No, it may be good investment, Todd. I will say, like if this is like your first of the next, 8 electric cars, not a bad thing to do.
Right.
But you're right. That's expensive. So when we talk about what it's going to take on a normal outlet from 0 to 100, in my experience with the i3, it would take really between 8 to 12 hours.
Right.
And if you want to do like a level 2 charger, which is way more prevalent out there in the public, like, the public chargers, you're talking about 4 to 5 hours to 100%. So, you really have to plan ahead. And that's the problem with these cars. If it's a car you're using as a daily driver and you use it a lot. If you're using it as a commuter in a sort of a controlled environment, then it's perfect, and I would highly recommend it.
Well, and it's different. I think people are going to have to learn different habits, because I think there's two types of people in the world. Okay, there's the type of people I see who walk around with their iPhone and they never charge it until it needs to be charged.
Oh, I hate those people.
You know,
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
8:00 in the morning at Starbucks, they're looking for a plug to charge their phone. Like me, and then there's
It drives me nuts.
the other kind of people like me. Every night I go to sleep, I plug my phone in, and it charges overnight.
Here,
And
my hand is raised.
I ruthlessly make fun of people who, they're like in the morning, they're like, I gotta find a charger. I'm like, oh, that's odd, because you charge your phone like overnight, so you must have a battery problem.
Yeah, yeah.
I even take it one step further. I'm carrying this new backpack that has room for a really giant Anchor battery battery pack, and I can charge my phone like 17 times off this one battery pack. So my phone always has.
This is the 20,000.
Yeah, it's the 20,000.
I travel
nice.
with that. I don't even rely on outlets anymore.
Nope, no need. Anyway, sorry, I got distracted again.
But so what I'm saying is, I think there's a mental thing as far as electric cars, and not just minis.
Well, isn't the quick charger, the level 2 chargers, even those are expensive to install. I mean, 50 amp service, most people have that. It's just a matter of running the wire to the garage.
Yep.
Well, and here's the other problem that
because I have 50 amp service in my house. My house is 20 years old.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is like they're targeting cars to a lot of, and I'm going to use a word that Gabe absolutely loves, a lot of hipsters.
Uh-huh.
No, come on.
A lot of them
millennials.
You and the word hipster, man. It's so weird.
These people who buy a house that's like, oh, I love it because it's 100 years old and it's awesome and whatever, and then they go buy an electric car, and the electrician goes, "You've only got 100 amp service in this house. It's going to cost you $8,000
for the entire house.
A whole new panel, bring in a whole new wire to your house, wire everything. We've got to upgrade and they're going to, oh crap, I don't want an electric car now."
Yeah.
So there's so many problems, I think, with the adoption of, and
it's just things that people don't think about.
Yeah, so many things people don't think about.
It's like they live in a really cool condo downtown with underground parking, and the underground parking doesn't have any electricity at all.
Well, a lot of them will have chargers.
Sure.
Yeah, but
I know.
You go anywhere now, and there's like 3 chargers.
Yeah.
You go to wherever you go, they're like, oh yeah, you can charge your electric car here. Yeah, there's only 3 of them in the entire. There's 700 people at this whatever, and there's 3 chargers. It still is an infrastructure problem. Not to mention everything.
Well, that's true. It's so true.
Not to mention everything you just said, Gabe, about charge times are
charge times the killer.
Yeah.
Even if you just go in and plug it into your regular outlet, which you can do in your garage.
Yeah.
No, you can, and you're gonna wait 8 to 12 hours. But here's the thing, guys. If this is a controlled environment, and I am looking at this car and saying, listen, I'm buying this car to drive every single day, and what that means is I commute in it, and I also have, or my wife or my partner or whatever has a car that will take, on the weekends to grandma's or something.
Yep. And that's almost how you have to do it.
Then it makes sense. And it not only makes sense, it makes a ton of sense.
Because this car would make sense for me. I drive 40 miles a day, plus or minus, a trip to the market or something like that. So I'm driving, we'll just say I average probably 50 miles a day that I drive. And this car makes total sense for that.
Well, and we do that too here at the house. We have 2 cars. We have 2 minis here. We both drive to work, and we drive one of them on the weekend. The other one sits.
Right.
And that's just the way it is, and I think some people are like that. But it's not everybody like that. And so I just think the adoption rate, it's not going to happen as fast as everybody says it's going to. Like, gas cars are going to be dead, and the next.
Well, let's talk about that, because that's a good segue, because we are now looking at, they call them ICE, internal combustion engines. We're looking at those cars basically being eradicated from automakers. And it's interesting because we all know that small cars in the United States are being killed on a daily basis. There's not a lot of them left. And that's primarily because fuel prices are low. The market just does not want them. But in Europe, it's a different thing. They are being legislatively, in a word,
Yes.
Kind of eradicated because the way the WLTP, the way the environmental standards are working, and let me preface it by saying, I love the earth and I would love to save it. However, it's an interesting thing what's happening because these new standards are basically making it mandatory to offer either a hybrid or electric version of a vehicle. Like you have to have hybrid at least as part of a car because it has to hit CO2 targets, which again, great because, CO2, bad, very bad in abundance, in terms of the Earth's greenhouse. So I think
that's what California's doing too, Gabe.
They are. That's true. And so what is happening is they are now, VW has come out publicly and said, this is going to kill small city cars. Now, keep in mind, current mini size is not a city car. It may have invented the city car concept in a sense. Right. The current size mini is not. It's considered a small subcompact. City car is a different category. So the VW Up is a city car. It's not that much smaller though. And so it doesn't mean that Mini's not feeling this pain. In fact, when we think about what this means is it means that small city cars cannot have an ICE engine. They have to be electric. And if they have to be electric, they have to be commuters. So you cannot drive them that far because batteries, the size won't allow for it.
The size won't allow for it. Yeah.
And suddenly VW is looking at this and saying, well, wait a second. We can't sell an ICE car without a hybrid attachment to it. And if we do that, it's too expensive. Nobody's going to buy a $30,000 city car. But we can maybe sell a small range electric car for that price and that size. And thus, the internal combustion engine is gone from small cars.
Interesting. Give me a timeline. Give me a timeline, Gabe. How long?
I'll believe when I see it.
Oh, it's gone. No, it's gone. It'll be gone in 5 years.
So in 5 years' time, I won't be in Europe. We won't be able to kill dinosaurs in Europe with small cars.
In small cars.
Okay.
Well, the only problem with that is, and I'm not opposed to any of these ideas because I'm all about saving the earth, just like yourselves. But there's a lot of people within the public, whoever that is, they don't have the money for these type of things.
Chad, that's the problem. You're totally right.
And we sold a car the other day, and we knew that it was just a pile. I mean, this car was like, hey, we lost money on this. It is what it is. Volkswagen Beetle, and it had a tick. It had all these things. It's like, here, it is what it is. $500, and the guy's like, I gotta have it. Here you go. and we knew that car probably only lasted this guy probably 4 weeks.
Okay.
But he had to have a car. Right now. He had to have a car.
Yeah, if he didn't have the car, he wouldn't have got the job. Or if he didn't have the car, he couldn't have visited his kids.
He didn't make it to work. He couldn't. There's no Thanksgiving. Christmas died. Whatever. Yeah. Those people will never be able to afford.
So Chad, that's the problem. And that's the punchline here is that suddenly, and in the United States, it's a little bit different, but suddenly you're taking away the entry level for everybody in Europe. People in Europe, and you talk to people from Britain especially, well, maybe I do because I speak the same language I do, but the point is that like their first car was an old shitty hatchback,
like a Ford car, or
because that's what they could afford.
Yeah.
And now you're talking about old shitty hatchbacks like that. It's a different proposition. They have to be electric, and that's going to be more expensive. And so now the cheap little diesel or petrol powered Peugeot or whatever is just not going to be there.
Yeah. Or when they do get old and shitty, the batteries are going to be kaput, and they're going to need $6,000 worth of batteries, and that's out of the price range of the kid who's getting their first car.
Great point.
And mom, dad want to buy a car, and they want to spend about $1,000, maybe $1,500, and they can't do it because.
Sorry, mom, dad, I only have a 20-mile range.
They can buy a They buy a $500 car, but it needs batteries, so you got to spend $6,000 on batteries.
Now, here's where transportation has to go and changes because so many people are using ride-sharing services now, and that's going to continue to go up, and it's going to be just fewer people are going to own cars than they do now. Just the
I'm all about Ubers and ride-sharing and Lyfts or whatever. I mean, I love it. I mean, whenever I'm in Vegas or whatever city, I don't want to rent a car. I can go to this place, to that place for $6, whatever, up and down the street. It's great, but there's a lot of expenses that people cannot afford in those type of things, and so.
Maybe your guy who needs a car, maybe instead of buying a $500 car, maybe they buy a $500 Lyft or Uber gift card. Gabe, what are you doing? Are you wrestling with your keyboard?
He's swallowing the microphone.
I just ate a bird.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
That's
no,
not the
I was
quickest way to
I'm
get it
moving my
across.
headset. It was just bothering me.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I apologize. I don't want to undermine Chad's point because it's it's the whole point of this whole article is that it's really, when it comes down to it, like one of the reasons why we love these cars so much is because you can get a Mini cheap, like no options. You can still get them for like 21, 22 grand.
Oh, dude, on the used market, I'm seeing 2014, 2015 Coopers with less than 50,000 miles going for like 11 or 12 in Arizona.
There you go. So that's awesome because it's a great car. And that to me is like an entirely sort of like a can I say subreddit? Like basically like this sort of subculture of minis. And I see these kids, buying these new, and I see them post their motor file too. Like, I'm new to Mini. Like, I love this car so much. And it's like everything you're telling me is new and it's interesting. And I'm like, I've got enthusiasts. That's great. And I do worry that, the whole notion of small cars, it's just going to be different. But let's move on because there's a couple other things I want to talk about.
But before we move on, and we mentioned this already, but if you're new to Mini and you want to get a Mini, please, for the love of all things good and delicious, do not buy a used 2007 to 2014 Mini Cooper S. Thank you.
Was that a PSA? That's amazing. I love it.
Yes. We've said that once before, and as far as used cars go, honestly, and I would imagine Chad won't agree because you're going to give Chad more money. If you live near Detroit by all means, buy a 2007 to 2014 Mini Cooper S.
I don't want to have to fix your car. I don't want to have to give you the bad news that you owe $5,000 on your car and you still have to put $9,200 into it right now because you need a brand new engine.
Oh my God!
Can I suggest something, guys?
Honestly, Chad would rather you spend half that money
on a car.
But Chad,
I'm going to suggest something.
No, really quick, because Chad would rather you spend half that money on like wheels and like suspension upgrades.
This is what I suggest. I suggest we all go in on a company that converts R56 ICE drivetrains to electric.
No.
Drop in.
No, because Gabe, at the end of the day,
5K.
it's still At the end of the day, it's still an R56 where the exterior mirror glue delaminates.
No, that's a fun.
And the interior pieces fall off into your lap. No, it's not. It's a pile of crap.
It's better than R53. It's better than R53 in that regard.
You lie.
Yes, it is. It is totally better.
Liar.
Nope.
R56,
it is better. I'm telling you, the
not.
quality besides the drivetrain is better.
No, it's not.
There's no way it's not better than R53.
I had a 2007 Cooper. Shit just fell out of nowhere. Anyway, let's move on.
I had one too, man. I had them all too. All right, so moving on. So there's two things I want to talk about next. The next thing is really I can't stop looking at this car, specifically the ass of it, which I know is awkward.
Yeah, the Corvette's wide. We get it.
The Superleggera.
Oh yeah, I did see that you reposted about the Superleggera again.
So can we just for a brief moment?
Why do you keep fueling this flame? This car is.
I haven't written about the Superleggera in years.
No, but then everybody else on the Facebook on the internet goes, "Oh my God, we need to have this car. Please make this car."
That's fine. then they should say that, and Mini should listen.
Yeah, but Mini doesn't listen because people are posting in non-public Facebook groups.
Well, that's their fucking. You know what? Honestly, people listening to this podcast, if you want to get Mini's attention, comment on Motoring File.
Yes.
If you comment elsewhere, they have no idea what's going on. They don't care. They don't think you exist.
We've talked about that before.
They think you're a bot. They think you are a bot.
You have to leave a comment on Motoring File.
So the point though, in me saying this is because this car, I know it's been a while, but this is the car that is going to influence the next generation Mini. We're talking about the next generation Mini in a second.
Okay.
This is the car that's going to influence the interior, especially.
Okay.
And so it's important. Like this is if you look at it, this is an R56 or F56 chassis.
Yes.
The other thing is, like, we're going to go through another LCI, and I think we're going to do a whole other round of like styling refreshes.
Yeah.
Well, what if it looks like this?
Right.
What if it looks like this, kids? I mean, it could.
Todd, go ahead.
I said we can only hope.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you look at it because...
Honestly, if the next Mini had a front end like the Superleggera, dude, it's done. That's it. Perfect.
Right. There's two things. I'll do that. I'll say this, and then we can move on. That consistently, in comments at Motoring File, comments on all of the social medias, when people say, what can Mini do to help, increase sales, to change things, to turn things around, if you will? Because we've been on a 4-year slide now, 5-year slide in sales. The two most common things people say is, one, it's ugly.
Yes.
I don't like the looks of it. It doesn't have that.
I hear that today.
Even from 2002 to 2007, the car had kind of some universal appeal.
Yes.
Where it was like more people liked it than didn't. Okay, that's why I call it universal.
Yeah.
Even all the way through the R56 range. I'd say all the way
Look
to
how
2014.
sexy this is.
Right, that's number one.
Yep,
that's number one. Number two is people say it's too expensive, which I've been starting to call bullshit too right now, because I mean the average price of cars anymore today is like $37. It's now between $37,000 and $39,000.
Yeah, cars in general are just too expensive.
Right?
But Minis are not.
No,
I think that's.
When somebody goes, "Oh, that car's going to be $40,000," which I got to say, I paid my car right now as it sits, brand new, and it's 2.5 months old now, was with the stuff that's on it almost 44. I have no problem with that. I don't think it was too expensive, and I don't sit and tell myself, "Oh, gee, look at what I could have done."
And Todd, here's my question to you: for people who are like, Todd, that is too expensive for me, I can't afford it. Here's the beauty of it: wait 2 years. Wait 3 years.
Wait 3 years.
That same car, you're going to be able to pick up that car for less.
I guarantee you, the one.
Do you know how much the Mini? Sorry, you know how much the Motoring File Clubman sold for? JCW Clubman. It was for sale in the low 30s after 1 year of my ownership.
And I want to know what Todd's JCW is going to end up selling for when it goes.
I'll tell you what. Here's an example. Here's the most recent example. My 2016 JCW that I traded in. Yep. It went off lease, right?
2016 and had all the things, all the JCW things. This was a factory as close to a GP as you can get with 4 seats.
Right. So that thing, I turned it in. It sold for $25,000.
Wow! I almost could have afforded that.
It sold for $25,000, and it sold in a week. It sat in the lot for a week, and then somebody bought it, and it's still here in town. It's funny because we have a local group.
Did you take all the graphics off?
No, everything's just and it's funny because it gets tagged all the time, and people are tagging me. "Oh, I saw you somewhere." That's not my car anymore. That wasn't me. I haven't owned that car for 2 months. Stop it.
All right.
But anyway, so yeah, you're right, Gabe. You can wait and save. But here's my point. And when people say that, they're like, "Oh, you know what else I could get for $40,000? I can buy a used car." I'm like, "No, not used. What else? Brand new. Can you go out on the market? You name 3 cars, and I bet you can't name one that you can buy that is as good as that for the same price."
I totally agree.
So I'm crying BS on people.
And some asshole's going to be like, "Oh, I can buy a Golf with this and that." Like,
you know what? Price one out, even a Golf R, and you're going to be the same price as a JCW. It is no more affordable than a JCW. It's just not. They're 1-to-1.
All right, shall we move on to
let's move on.
The last topic? So
yes,
the last topic of the night is the fourth. It's all leading up to this, guys.
The fourth wall.
The 4th generation Mini.
Don't break the fourth wall.
Yeah. The fourth, aka the fourth wall. So the 4th generation Mini. So the whole like, oh shit, what are we gonna do? Like this is what happened a couple years ago with BMW. They looked at this and they said, okay, so guys, we got together in this meeting to plan the 4th generation Mini, and everybody's like, wait a second, let's think about this for a second. The new platform, the FAR, FAAR, German acronyms, by the way, are very awkward. The FAR, which is the follow-up to the UKL platform, which is a BMW front drive platform, is going to be more sophisticated and slightly larger than before. And so they all probably looked around and said, well, wait a second, that's probably a bad thing for Mini, right? Like, because we already know that the UKL platform was kind of a little bit too large for the small Minis. Mm-hmm. Everybody is complaining about the front overhang, rightfully so. And everybody at BMW is like, we got to do something about that front overhang. We all hate it too, right? And so they realize that this is a bad idea. Now, secondly, they also realize that, man, I feel like we missed the boat on the electrification of this car. They really, really internally believe that they missed the boat, i.e. they should have planned ahead, and they should have looked at right about 2020 Mini becoming electric, and not just retrofitting the F56, but truly becoming an electric brand. And so that all kind of came to a head a couple of years ago, and they realized we need to do something different for the small Minis. We need to do something that feels more Mini and more true to the brand. And so they realized they could not create a bespoke platform because, as you can imagine, it's going to cost an enormous amount of money.
Right.
And BMW is a relatively small automaker.
Right.
They couldn't partner with PSA. They were already partnering with other people. They couldn't partner with Volkswagen. They couldn't partner with anybody. So they realized that the majority of electric vehicle investments was happening in China. And it's happening in China because the government is mandating a certain percentage of electric vehicles sold. And so therefore these companies have to make electric vehicles. And so the know-how, the sort of critical mass of knowledge, if you will, around electric vehicles is shifting to China because of what the government is asking them to do. And so BMW is basically realizing that they need to partner with somebody in China to support the critical mass of, more or less the economies of scale for Mini, so they could produce an all-electric Mini as the follow-up to the F56. And they have chosen a company that you and I, we've never heard of, but apparently sells more cars than anybody could ever imagine.
Great Wall.
Called Great Wall Motors.
Right.
And they will be co-developing the next generation platform for the next generation Mini.
Which will essentially be an electric city car.
That car, not city car,
yeah.
That car will be all electric per the current sort of understanding from BMW. So that car will not be a city car. That car will be equivalent to the current hatch in terms of size.
All right.
Maybe a tiny bit smaller, but it would be roughly equivalent in terms of interior volume.
All right.
And that car will be produced in Oxford, England, as well as China.
Well, so far as we know now, I mean, BMW keeps threatening every other day to stop Brexit.
Well, they haven't threatened anything about stopping production. They haven't. They've stopped. They have stopped production.
They talked about closing the Cali plant. So
no. Well, they have not officially talked about that. They have talked about, well, I mean, and frankly, Todd, here when it comes down to it, the Cali plant makes engines. Yeah. I mean, that they may not need that, in the future, but they've been very clear that the Oxford plant will be making electric Minis in the future, and so as will China. So that's kind of the high level. So, but all that said, they decided that really late in the game. Never mind all this. I mean, I know there's like a million thoughts there. Like, oh my God, like after 2023, is there only going to be small, like the only small Mini I can buy, is it going to be electric? Good question. Let's get back to that in a second. Now you look at the F56 and you realize like, oh my God, this car is going to be produced for 10 years.
That's a long time for
really
BMW.
long.
Yeah.
It's really long. So, it's interesting. It brings up some interesting possibilities. So for one, you can make new versions of it, like the electric F56. That's a car that's going to be thoroughly re-engineered. What if there's a second LCI or refresh? I think that's going to happen. What if the styling actually gets refreshed? I think that's going to happen too.
Well, I think it's got to happen because, Gabe, we live in a world where people get tired of the old things. They're like, I want something new, something innovative, something fresh. Instead of driving around in my 10-year-old car, which is fine. It's adequate. But yeah, I'd really like to have a Tesla. That's cool.
Yeah.
To have features like a Tesla or something like that.
So it's going to happen for sure. For sure. So I think it's going to be something that, we're going to see this happen in conjunction with this electric car. So this all begs the question. When 2023 hits, let's just pretend 2023, that's when the new electric BMW / Chinese engineered Mini comes out. Now, also, by the way, keep in mind that the rumors I've heard is BMW is defining the engineering of this car. It's really the Greywall Motors is providing the economies of scale. So 2023, this car hits the market. And 6 months before then, gas prices plunge. And suddenly in the United States and Russia and other places, nobody really cares for electric cars that much.
Because we're paying, because the oil company said, shit. And they dropped the price of oil down, so gas keeps staying at $2 a gallon.
Right. And something happens.
Yeah.
And suddenly, like, there's just not as much interest as BMW thought. What is going to happen? Because they've got the F-56, and if they play their cards right, it could still be totally relevant.
Right.
Do they keep producing it?
Interesting.
I believe they're going to wait until the last possible second to make that call.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's tough. We could do many, many hours on the geopolitical.
I mean, we could see, Todd, we could see a GP released in 2020. We could see another version of the GP released in 2022.
No.
That's insane. To think about what, Here's the crazy thing. The GP traditionally has been the swan song of a generation of cars. Okay? It was the end of it kind of, it pretty much was in 2013.
It's always the end of an era, right?
In 2006, it was the end of the R53 generation.
Yeah.
So now it's coming out in 2020. Is that, the question is, it's not going to be the end of the F56 generation, but they're going to have to make some big changes. Call it like a major LCI or a second LCI, or
I believe they're going to do a second LCI, and I believe they're going to up horsepower and increase efficiency on all the ICE engines. I think that there's going to be, and keep in mind, we're not even talking about the large minis. The large minis are fine. The Countryman and Clubman, they're going to be moving to the FAR platform, the FAAR platform.
Right.
And they're going to be fine. And the Countryman's going to come out. The Clubman's dead, by the way.
Right.
I mean, if anybody's curious, the Countryman is going to be, it's going to be a third generation. The Clubman's going to go away. We're going to see a 4-door coupe of the Countryman, and the rumors point to a more rugged version of the Countryman as well coming out.
The existing 4-door and the Clubman need to morph into something that is a little somewhere in between where the 4-door is now and the Countryman. Yeah, like a smaller Countryman, if you will.
That would be cool.
And they kind of missed the market for it because right now that is one of the hottest selling.
I think what they're going to do is I think they're going to make a little SUV out of the next generation small Mini.
Yeah.
And it's going to be all electric. And I think you're right, Todd. But if you look at it, I mean, all the other automakers with hatches like that, they're getting rid of the 2-door, not the 4-door. Or sorry, they're getting rid of the 3-door, not the 5-door. And if you look at sales, the 5-door is kind of outselling the 3-door.
Yeah, it's close.
Which sucks because it looks like shit.
Yeah, it does. It's a horrible car. I'm sorry if you own one and you're listening. My apologies. It's my opinion. You're entitled to your opinion too. But
but I'm on a podcast, so I'm going to tell you about mine.
Right, I'm going to tell you I don't like the 4-door. Right, I know people who have had it, and it was funny because Gabe, I saw that picture you posted to Instagram of you getting in the back seat, and you're like, nope.
It's tough, man.
Nope.
Yeah,
it's tough.
I think, and I've been giving this some thought, and I don't know why, but I just have. I think the 4-door. Sorry about that. That was me. I think the 4-door if you were to slam it, Chad, I know Chad's going to be with me. Slam it, give it maybe an exhaust, dark tint the windows, a cool wrap job. I think it could be passable.
No, just move on.
I know,
And
but
some
DP,
cool
I think you're right.
cool wheels. And some cool
But
wheels.
let me
Chad?
give you some numbers really quickly, guys. So in last year, February 2018, Cooper. So sorry, the 2-door versus the 4-door. 2-door sold 715, 4-door 434. 2019, 1 year on, the 2-door sold 566, 4-door sold 512. So that gap is closing.
Yeah. It just goes to show people buy ugly cars. I mean, they sold the Fiat 500 XL for crying out loud. People bought that.
That's true. All right, last topic, guys.
It's got to be the last one because we're already really running
Why
late to the
are
affiliates.
Countryman sales crashing?
Because everybody's buying Volvo SEs instead.
They're crashing. They're down 26%. Meanwhile, the 4-door we just talked about, up 18%. The convertible, 13%. For God's sake, the Clubman is up 3%.
Well,
The Countryman, down 26.5%.
You know, that might come back around to a price issue because at some point there's going to be a tipping point for how much somebody's going to pay for a Mini. It's like Disneyland, right? The Disneyland sent out a survey 25 years ago before they started really up in the prices, and they're saying, at what point will you no longer go to Disneyland? Right? And I think the Countryman might be at that tipping point where it is getting to the point where it is no longer a reasonably priced car for people that are looking for a car in the $30,000 range, and they go, "Ooh, I'd really get that Clubman or the Countryman, but it's $40,000 and it's $10,000 over budget, and I can't afford that."
No, you can buy a very nicely equipped Countryman for 35 or under.
Well, okay, so I stand corrected, but I still think it's a price thing.
We just did I did the whole experience last year with the in-laws.
Yeah.
You know, where they were looking for a Hyundai. They looked at everything from a Kia to a Hyundai. By the way, and this is for a future reference too. My last trip to Vegas, we rented the what's the little Hyundai? No, the little one. The
Kia Ford.
Kona. Was it is it a Hyundai that makes the Kona, or is it Kia?
I think so.
Well, we rented a Kona anyway, and it was not bad. So speaking of the small SU, like the mini Ute, if you will.
It's a Hyundai.
Yeah, it was pretty decent. Kind of a
that thing. It's kind of ugly. That thing's got cladding all over the place.
Yeah.
I bet the Countryman's better looking.
I don't know, Gabe. I think it's an interesting topic.
That's a very interesting topic. Gabe, really quick. What's your
February
thought?
Sales. Yeah, what's that?
Oh no, Todd, I know where you're going. Go ahead.
Yeah, January and February sales, I think we have to throw out the window because like 60% of the entire country was under like 3 feet of snow and 4 degrees.
But even still, Todd, you know what? January and February, you know what they had in common? The Countryman crashed.
Right. Well, I think everything crashed.
No, it did, but not minis. That's not true. Yeah. I mean, if you look at it, the only thing that was down was the 2-door hardtop and the Countryman.
Well, down from the previous year, which was also shit. That's
but it's weird. All the other, I get it, but all the other models were up.
No, I don't care. It's only over year, and
I know, but 2 months in a row.
I still say
same numbers.
I look at more of a 4-year, 5-year trend on these things and go, these are where you start extrapolating the better information other than year over year, because I think it's a wrong-headed way. No, cars last longer.
I think you're right, but it is interesting because the Countryman has never been down 10% for 2 months. Yeah. Like not even 1 month, for 2 months. It was down, Todd, over 20% for 2 months in a row.
Yeah, it's pretty horrible. Well, here's another theory I have on that, Gabe. As far as January, February sales go, they're so skewed because the end of the year in December, so many dealers end up punching these cars, and, put them on RDR lists, as being sold when they're not really sold. Like they'll turn them into loaners or whatever. But they don't show up until they show up in December sales. So when they actually sell in January, February, they don't show up on the real sales.
Right.
And it's a shitty thing, and it's not just Mini that does it. Every car company does this. So it takes 3-4 full months of the year for everybody to get off the the funny games they played in November, December to close out the year well.
Right.
Okay. And I think there's so many factors. You can't just go, oh, Countryman sales are crashing. Well, you know what? Maybe there was a dealer that punched 80 of these things in December, and
I'm looking at this number. It's almost 360 units exactly down. 300. It's 359 units down from the year prior. So that's
three dealer.
It's 3 per dealer. Done. There you go. Solved it. What's next?
That's it.
That's it. Fixed it. Done.
Yeah. It's because they're horrible, but I think you can't really look at January, February in the U.S. this year just because winter sucked.
Well, and I'll end it this way. I would love to hear from motoring advisors who are listening. I would love to hear what they think.
There aren't any left, Gabe.
Well, there are. They post their motoring file. They post everywhere. I see them. And
comment below. If you're listening on Motoring File, go ahead and comment.
I
Go back
would
to
love
Motoring
to
File,
hear from
comment.
them. And the last thing I'll say is I feel for them. You know, these guys and girls are working hard. They're great, and in some cases they're still doing well. In other cases they're not. And
unfortunately, I still think the problem with sales in general is the R56. That is the problem with Mini Cooper sales. It's going to take
it's bullshit, though.
It is bullshit, but Gabe, that's the way the market works. Because everybody else, you see it all day long on the internet. There was a story on Jalopnik, for crying out loud, about what car should I buy, and the guy got burned by an R56. That was on Jalopnik, and then everybody else, and then Patrick George says, I got burned by an R56. Oh, I got burned by an R56.
I thought you said F56.
No, R.
So you're totally right.
That's a
DB. I'll change my answer. You're totally right.
10-year battle that they're gonna be going upstream
why
with no
why
paddles
do you think,
because of that.
Why
damn
do you
car.
think? And the thing I forgot to mention in this is why do you think I wrote this entire article about can Mini overcome its history of quality problems?
Yeah.
I mean, the reality is
clickbait.
Really. Dude, how is that?
Dude, I'm kidding. I'm
It's
kidding.
an actual article that I wrote.
Relax.
Since the original Mini. The original Mini wasn't necessarily built that great.
No.
The first well-built Mini in the history of the brand. This is fucking sorry. Wow, did I say that?
This is the R50.
No, this is going to get some comments. The first well-built Mini was built in 2013.
No, I would disagree. I would
you haven't owned one.
I would say 2002 with the R50.
No, that was one of the worst. That was the worst built car I've ever had in my life.
Yeah,
I mean, it was one of my favorites, but it was the worst.
2 to 3, they did a lot of changes, but yes, 13s are actually pretty decent.
He's actually talking about the roadster. He's actually talking about the roadster and the coupe, Chad.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about the F56. Anyway, we can debate that later.
Yeah.
But I'll end on that.
Wow. Okay. I'm gonna let you guys decompress for a minute. I want to remind you about one of the other fine sponsors here underneath the white roof, our friends over at Craven Speed. Now look, we all live in the great state, this great land of the United States. Not all of us. I know some of you guys live elsewhere, and you aren't burdened by the same nanny rules that we are here in the United States. If you happen to be, well, I might be able to help you out here at Craven Speed. Every state in the union now, you can't use your phone when you drive. Thank God. Arizona's finally coming out of the dark ages, and we are no longer allowing people to hold their phone in their car when they drive. So you need a way to hold your phone in your car. You want to be able to see a text message. You want to be able to just touch and navigate through your navigation, or just to swipe to the next song, right? You don't want to have to pick your phone up like an animal and hold it so you can't see what you're doing. You need ready access, but you don't want to have to hold it. You want to go over to Craven Speed. Craven Speed's got the Gemini phone mounts. Let me tell you guys, this piece is freaking amazing, and they have it for damn near every car. You just want to go over there and just buy one. Quit screwing around with those $20 shitty Chinese things you're getting off of Amazon. They suck. Go over to Craven Speed and get a Gemini. Trust me, they've got one possibly for your car.
Craven Speed makes them right there.
They build them right there. They're designed in house. They prototype.
If you want to support a U.S. company that makes products in the U.S. and create something based on their own design, this is it. This is where you need to buy.
Not only that, but Craven Speed's a OG sponsor, right, of the Dragon, of Motoring File, of White Roof Radio. since like day one. Right? These guys are awesome. And there's a reason why, because they make really cool stuff. Don't forget the full line of Miata stuff, Mini stuff, Fiat 500 stuff, if you're one of the Fiat 500 owners out there. I know there's some of you out there. You can't hide from me. But they've got stuff for the Fiat 500. They have stuff for dang near every brand of car. It might just be a stubby antenna, but there's stuff for a lot of different brands, even if you don't have a Mini. However, Mini Cooper owners, okay, let's get off the Gemini phone mount, shall we? Just for a moment. If you are still rocking an R53, the first generation Mini Cooper S, and somehow you managed to come across a perfect grandma car, never been modified at all, and you want a little bit more oomph out of it, Chad, they're going to get the Craven Speed pulley, right? Right, that's what Chad said. He says right, and he whispered it in my ear. You've got any Mini with a dipstick.
Yes.
You're a little late. That was kind of funny, actually. You have any Mini with the dipstick, you're going to get the Craven Speed dipstick because it doesn't break and it's easy to read, unlike the R56 dipstick, which was just rubbish. Just throw that thing in the trash and get a Craven Speed dipstick. Trust me on that. Really, it's better. Plus a whole host of other things. Just click over and you can see all of it. Craven Speed's awesome. Like I mentioned, they've been OG sponsor, Motoring File, White Roof Radio, and Mini Coopers on the Dragon forever, right? They're born and raised Portland, Oregon, since 2005. They prototype everything in-house. It's made of unobtainium and other cool materials that you've never heard of before, but it lasts forever, and it's super well built. I've had like a car full of Craven Speed parts before, and I love it. Go over there, check it out, please. CravenSpeed.com. As an added bonus, let me tell you something that's really cool about Craven Speed. You go to Craven Speed, and you're going to buy it from their website, great, and there's a place to leave a comment, and you're going to tell them, thanks for supporting White Roof Radio. Don't forget that part. But you don't go to Craven Speed. But you remember me talking about Craven Speed, and you're at Detroit Tuned, or you're at Helix, or you're over talking to Jerry here in Arizona, or your guy, whoever you're talking away down in Georgia. It doesn't matter. You're at your guy, and you go, hey, I want some Craven Speed parts on my car. Done. That's the next best thing. They love it when you guys do that. They would almost rather you go to your guy and let your guy order the Craven Speed parts for you and install them properly on your car. Perfect. They don't mind that. Go. Do it now. Craven Speed. CravenSpeed.com. Thank you. Whew. What's next? Anything?
Nope.
All right. Hey, Gabe.
That's it.
Gabe, thanks for joining us.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Because we don't get Gabe very often, and he made us into a long show this week, which is totally okay. Chad, we did on motoring.com already. You missed it, man. And we wanted to talk about other stuff, but there was a lot of news to get caught up on, so I'm glad we were able to do that. We will be getting back on the 2 shows a month schedule. I hope. We'll see. I bought a house, and that's kind of what threw us off. And I apologize for the delay in not having a show.
Who's excited to get their cars out for the spring that they've been like?
Me. Duh.
Me.
I'm putting my summer tires on this weekend, Gabe.
No, you're not.
Oh my god. I've got two cars that have not been driven in like 4 months.
Has Mr. Peterson switched to summers, Todd?
Who cares? It's going to be in the 60s here for 7 straight days. And my rule is 50 degrees plus for 5 straight days. Summer tires go back on, and that's happening this week, and I'm doing it.
All right, I'm going to put my summer tires back on too,
which guarantees it's going to snow a foot between now and the end.
Yeah, exactly. We had tornadoes tonight through here, so
yikes. No, because I bought a house, you know what I'm actually excited to do? I'm actually excited to do a proper driveway car wash and detail on my car.
I was going to say mow the lawn.
Well, that too. I'm excited to mow the lawn. No, my car hasn't had a proper wash in over a year. Oh, it's so bad. It's almost embarrassing. Like, I couldn't drive it to Anviv.
You're going to have to get out the chisel, man.
I might have to get out the chisel. It's pretty bad.
You should clay bar it first and then detail it.
Well, Chad, I know how this works, dude. Come on. Not my Come on, man. I know how to detail.
He just brushed his shoulder off, by the way. That's what he did.
Yeah, and there's a routine that I have to do in this car. Both cars actually will be getting at this, and the 5 Series will be getting full exterior details here in the very, very soon, very near future. But anyway, like I mentioned, I apologize for the delay in getting you guys shows. We are getting back on track, so just make sure you stay subscribed. That would be truly, truly awesome. One more time. Anybody have anything else? Gabe, anything?
Oh, I'm out.
Chad, Detroit Tune. Chad, you went round and round about Amazon on Detroit Tune. Do you have extra purses you're trying to get rid of? What is it you're trying to get rid of? We need to send everybody time to go by.
What are we trying to get? Yeah, I mean, we're unfortunately we're ending our wholesale account with our purses because they decided to end the wholesale account.
Oh.
So those are all on special. I mean, they're all on sale, like super on sale.
Okay.
We're getting ready for the Dragon right now.
Yes.
Like we are expanding our tuning capabilities. Like there's a ton of stuff going on. I am
so Chad. If I have a Countryman JCW, what could you give me more horsepower?
Oh yeah. We'll throw a quick RPM tune on it. Done.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
And by remote control
50 horsepower.
Too. Really?
Wait, how many?
50 horsepower.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, Gabe, I've got 280 in my JCW right now.
There you go.
Dude, nice. All right. So you have to just click over to Detroit Tune and make sure you book some time with Chad if you're going to the Dragon. You want him or is Marzo going?
Yes, Marzo's going.
So
Nick is going. We're gonna have a lot of new tuning solutions there at the Dragon. There's gonna be like plug and play flash stuff, really easy, and it's gonna give you anywhere from 20 to 30 horsepower on average.
Wow!
But depending on what you have on your car, it could be more.
All right.
It's like the old. It's like the pulley.
Yeah.
The old pulley party.
It really is. We were kind of testing it on my girlfriend's Jetta, and we literally put 30 horsepower and 44 foot-pounds of torque. And that car went from, it's kind of boring, I don't really want it, it's big, it's kind of, to, this car's kind of got some get and go.
It's got a little bit of stuff to it.
It's fun now. Like, that and a short shifter, and it was like, wow, this really has a little more drivability to it. So.
Nice, very cool stuff. That, of course, all available at Detroit Tune, DetroitTune.com. Of course, if you're within 5 hours of Chad's voice, he's your shop anyway. But make sure you go check him out at Minis on the Dragon. We're going to try to get Barry on before the event actually happens. That, of course, Minis on the Dragon happening May 1st through 5th. Fontana Village, North Carolina. As always, Minis on thedragon.com. If you just do a search for Minis on the Dragon, Google will take you right there to minisonthedragon.com.
Right there. Yep.
Take you right there. Boom, done and done. If you have no idea what we're on about, this is the Mini Cooper event of the year. If you can make it, if there's any chance that you can make it down there, I highly recommend it. Just for another reason, you get to meet everybody that walks around introducing themselves by their NAM screen names.
It's also very relaxing.
What's NAM?
Exactly, dude. Yeah.
Mini Cooper's online.
I'm MCO. I'm DB will do on the boards. Huh?
I think I designed that logo.
Right.
You probably did.
I know I did.
Wow, that's old school right there. Those of you who remember MCO, raise your hands. Good grief.
No, NAM.
Oh yeah, NAM also. NAM's still there.
No, that's what I'm saying. I designed that.
Oh,
logo.
you did the one for NAM?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Years ago.
I thought you just did the one for Mark over at MCO.
No, did I? I
don't know. And here, just because we're going old school, GoMotoring.com update is going to be temporarily not available as we are changing to a lot of new content. We'll be relaunching the week of December 12th. And none of the images are there now, by the way. It's completely
Wait, what
broken.
is it? What's the site?
GoMotoring.com.
Oh, GoMotoring.com.
Yeah, GoMotoring.com.
Let me check it out.
Yeah, go check it out. It's still looks like it's
looking for
coming. Still going to be
coming.
It's
coming in 9 months.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'll wait 9 months.
9 years and 9 months.
9 years and 9 months.
I like there's tables here with no images.
Yeah.
Wonder what's happening there.
Yeah. I wish there was a date on this file, like in the source, but there's just not, because I would really want to know how long it's been there.
It's like 2009.
I think so, dude. It's been there for at least 10 years. Just completely dead. So funny. Anyway.
Oh, well.
It's funny.
It's like
That's really.
$100 worth of like
I don't
domain
know.
fees.
FWIW.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, gang, thanks again for sticking with us. We do appreciate it. This is a part of the show, though, where I'm going to double check. Todd's good, Chad's good, Gabe's good. Yeah, we're good. This is part of the show we're going to go and shut it down. So I do like to make a funny clicking sound, and then I say... Questions, comments, or concerns, go ahead, click back over to whiteroofradio.com. There you can leave us a note in the show notes. You can also email us, feedback, whiteroofradio.com, which actually works thanks to nobody who told me that it was broken. Anyway, until next time, gang, this is DB. I'm done.
Cheers.
See ya.
All right, we're recording again. Let's do episode number 654 for this 18 months after the last one, March 14th, 2019. That's a lie. Here we go.
We even done one this year?
Yeah, we did one January 27th. This might take me 2 tries to do the intro, so just calm your tits and give me a minute. Here we go. 1, 2, and 3. What? Really quick. What?
You have to bleep that.
Well,
That's Black Roof.
This part gets cut off until the part where it starts right here. You're listening to the world famous White Roof Radio. Well, shit, and then Todd starts talking.
You should go. By the way, you should go like old school Alex Trebek, where it's just like,
Die.
Shit, God damn it! No. You ever heard his
Yes.
Yes.
Or the best part? You guys ever seen Winnebago Man?
Yeah,
Yes,
Winnebago
I love
Man. I
Winnebago
thought of
Man.
that.
Somebody get a goddamn script in this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the best is the flies. It's like
Oh yeah.
it's like, God damn jackass.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Except I don't want to do that much editing. The number of beeps required for that would just be a production project. In and of itself.
Tony, if you get the
Just be like,
flies, man, we've got flies.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And I don't want to hear any more yelling, and that includes me.
There you. Yes. Okay.
Sorry.
Let me try to do an intro again.
Yes,
Ready?
please.
I'm going on mute.
Thanks. Here we go. 1 and a 2. You're listening to the world famous White Roof Radio, Woofcast number 654, recorded March 14th, 2019. Tonight brought to you by Gabe coughing, apparently. We're not going to do an intro this week. Screw it. We'll just start the damn show. Good grief.
Take Burnside.
I was on mute.
Thank you, Chad.
Sorry.
Gabe, can you go on mute? Can you figure out how to mute your headset for me?
No.
please?
I can go on mute. I just violently put my cup down.
Well,
and
I heard you drinking,
Sorry.
and it's a
All
nightmare.
right, I'm on
so-
mute. Bye bye.
We just love something fun at the end of the show. You're welcome. Here we go. One more time. Jesus. You're listening to the world famous White Roof Radio, Woofcast number 654, recorded March 14th, 2019. Brought to you, of course, by our good friends over at outmotoring.com, cravenspeed.com, and motoringstripes.com. Mini performance, speed, and style. Motoringstripes.com. One more try.